As you can tell, I've removed all the tape and the cut pieces and the vinyl and everything else. And this is what we've got. My lighting in the shed is very light. That sounds stupid. The lighting in my shed is very soft. So while the camera is giving a nice clear picture, there isn't much of a bright light. So you have a hard time seeing a lot of the black under the red. There's a light pink color underneath this red. With a little massaging, we'll get that to show, so it's a slightly different shade of red underneath this little spot up here. And in the back, we did that pink. We did the pink as well. And I knocked down some of the color, some of the amount of that pink color using a razor, and knocked a lot of it down and left it where I wanted it to be. So as I come in here and sand or use the razor a bit, especially under this area where it's really noticeable, and in here, you're going to notice a change in color from the definitely red to a possible pinkish color. Found another piece of tape. So, and we've got it all along the belly cut here, down here, and in here. And then of course this whole area. So we've got some work to do. We're going to have to knock down some of the red that sits on here. And let me just do a little bit right here. This is where you got to really take your time. So as I start to take off the red here, it takes off the gloss as well, but you will see some change in color. To that pinkish hue. Okay, so I just did a tiny spot. Let me just wipe that off real quick. And you'll see a little bit starting to come through right there where that white is. And I know there's still pieces of vinyl in here. But this area turned out good. And with the right amount of sanding or scraping, we should be able to get it to look the way we want, which is why we're here. So, but wanted to show it to you right after I pulled the tape. Still has those big thick ridges where the paint was, all that kind of stuff. So we've got work. I didn't have much flow of the red underneath any of the tape. So I kind of lucked out in that area. And I was able to get enough of the misting that I wanted for the area inside here. That slight misting of the red in here, and then the darker area here because of the tape going over. So it worked out fairly well. Now we got to knock down some ridges. This turned out pretty good. I still feel some sticky parts, but we're going to knock down those ridges. And you'll see the little scratches and scrape marks that this puts on here. That goes away when you do the final coat of clear coat over this. And it's just the standard Duplicolor auto clear coat stuff. There's some divots that go straight down to the wood. And I wanted to show you how to do that. There's multiple ones right up here. Take your point, stick it in, twist and pop. So right there, now you've got it down to the wood without much of the black or anything else showing. And he's got about 5 or 6 in this little area, some smaller, some larger. But that's how you're going to add it. Just like that. And there's a few spots like that over the body. So, for the most part, this is knocked down, this whole top, except for the round over bits. We're going to go in and darken this up all the way around here and add my special powder that I use in there to give it that dirt aged gunk look. And we've also got the white shelf right here. This is just what we needed for when that neck goes on there. And same with the back here. There's going to be a lot of knocking down edges, and if you can do it in a smooth single movement, it helps. We're going to come back and we're going to start working on these outside edges where we lightly scrape so we can reveal more white around these marks, just like it is on the real deal. So by doing just this little bit, you could begin to see how that pink is going to show. Right there is about as worn as I want to get. And you see the pink there, you see how thin the red has gotten and how it's showing parts of the white right there. And that's accurate. That's just like how it is on the real deal. So we're going to try to replicate this in other places. But we do have to get the naphtha and get this gummy stuff off first before we can really kind of go to town on all that. And then we'll add some more spots that we need, like up in here that's on the white, but I like to wait till after. But again, just wanted to show you how it looks when it comes out. And by working carefully on these edges, you'll get a realistic looking mark. I'm not done there yet, but you can see how you can get it faded and come even at an angle and show that there was upward scratching that happens there, which caused the removal of that red in the first place. So that's how we're going to do it. And the more we do, the more realistic it's going to look. We're going to try not to go overboard, which I have been known to do. A light touch is much better than a heavy one. So yeah, that's what we got. And when we're done here, this is going to be a lighter shade. It's going to have more pink reveal there. We're going to come in and put more detail into this black area and a few little spots here to kind of sell it more. And once we clean it up and get that gunk off, you'll see the black clearly through here, which is what we want, and that's part of that area. So for the most part, the back's done with the knocking down of the ledges from the paint. So here, there's a couple good sized divots over here where you can always. We're going to remove some paint, kind of the way I'm doing here, which is going to show the two holes here that are going to show the where strap hook goes that breaks off on the inside. And I kind of got a funny way to do it, to actually break off the metal deep down into the wood the way it's supposed to be. So we'll cover that. That was a fun thing I stumbled on one day. So I'm going to now get the good old naphtha out. This area right in here, I was just scraping this in one direction. Terrible band. But, you know, like this to reveal a little more of that faded look from being a worn spot. Doesn't take long, but that's how we do it. And we just keep knocking down these edges as we go. We want to get it all the way around. Knock all that down. So you got roundovers, you got all that stuff to do. So go get to it. So, okay, so we're going to get that upper part here. These roundovers are always a pain in the butt. And making sure that you don't remove more paint than you want to. And now they're smooth. It goes just like that. And we still have some little ledges to do, but we're going to have to soften this in here to get that pink to reveal. You can see how much lighter it is right here than in some spots. So that worked out well. So, but the next fun part is aging these inner cavities here. And we'll get to that. You just hold your horses. We'll get to it. And some areas where we know there's a lot of wear, we'll remove a lot of the red. And we just leave that little bit that kind of just shows that it was there. It stopped by for a bit. So, but we'll get it all knocked down. I think we're pretty much there. Now that all we have to worry about are these roundover bits, and we'll worry about that. And I'm not going to worry about this inside because it would make sense to have roundover or ledges there. So let's just do the Gibson input jack holes real quick. They go in fairly deep. That. And then as we look at it from the top, there we go. While we got this going, we know that there's a hole right here. Fairly deep. We know that there's one here to the right of center. That one's going to be deep. We got to work on that with a larger bit to get it to sink in deeper. And we got one right here. Like that. Now I know that there's a couple more up here, but they're really not seen. So I'm not really going to go nuts on it. We do have two more here. which is... Oh, we got a few more. I forgot. Okay, so we got these two. We got that. There's one in the black right here that held when there was a cover for this cavity at one point. But it's a fairly clean one, so we want to go in about like that. And then he's got another one that is about right there. Yeah. Now the one that goes in here is what caused that wood to split. And we know that there's one because he had it on at an angle. But so we need to get one at the end right here. The plate never sat flush, it sat at an angle like that. And that's why that hole is there. This one we're going to work on, get it bigger. This one needs to be bigger. About like that. Then we want to remember that there's one in this spot as well. And it's fairly big. Okay, and we also have one, a big one, right here where this roundover is. So we're going to put that right there. And give it some size right there. Let's go ahead and mark these because we know that there's one right there, right there. That's the one that gets broken off inside. There's only been one eye hook on this front, and it was just a little bit off center. So it's roughly about right there. And then we got the ones in the back. We know there's the traditional one, which is right inside, in line with the center of the trim cavity there. We got one up here. One right there. And that pretty much does us. Now what we didn't do was come back and make any of these deeper. So I can do that now. And when you make them deeper, they get a dark shadow inside. And that's what you want, so it looks like something was there. And we're going to go all the way around. And there we go. So I jumped ahead to show you because really what I want to do is still be working on making some of this red lighter color run. I usually have a lot more, but I was happily surprised. Now remember the lines I told you about these and how Eddie cut these on the body instead of before putting them on the body. So you can connect these lines like that. And it's got the somewhat realistic look. So you see that line. So, but the rest is looking pretty good. Remember that the input jack always dangled right there, so it was always a little bit thinner because of being hit constantly. So you can add that right in there. And a few more spots. And it all just starts to look worn. Actually, it starts to look like the way it's supposed to look.